Gregory is 6 years old. He's a very interesting kid because he just loves to explore things. He loves to run around the playroom and just feel everything, and he's very sensory. He needs a lot of sensory input.
Liz basically is somebody who has an amazing amount of energy. She's very, very passionate about every single thing she does, whether it's coming to school and saying hi to you and she's with gusto shakes your hand, to opening up her book, to immersing herself in activities, to being really frustrated about things and communicating her frustration and anger in very expressive ways.
Brian Carter, just one of the most adorable kids in the entire world. He's sort of a tactile, defensive kind of child where he doesn't like to be touched. And it's just been so interesting for me in the past 4 months that I've been working with him, how familiar we're becoming with each other.
Play outside. After you pooped in the potty, what was next? Circle? No. What did you do with Adriana before? What did you do with Adriana before? No. Adriana and Rebecca. What did you do, Adriana?
I think we drew pictures.
You drew pictures, that's right.
When you first come into a school with kids and you've never seen anybody with a disability, you know, you probably have a range of emotions. You probably, feel sorry for the kids. You want to help them. And you don't see them as a typical little kid. But the bottom line is, kids are kids. Most of these kids have come into this world this way, or they were so young when they lost whatever abilities they had that they may not remember. So it's not like something was taken away. Here I am, this is me, and I need, help with certain things, but I still have strengths. I still am motivated by things. I still have likes. I still have dislikes.
Tetra and Jojo are outside at the playground. Do you want to go see them?
No.
Oh,
It's Monday morning at the Boston College campus school, and Sue Dennison's class of rambunctious preschoolers has just begun the day's activities.
Where we bring this home?
This preschool is run as typically as I can run it. What does a typical preschooler do? They go to preschool and they play in the play area, they have a snack, they sit at story time or circle or whatever that teacher calls it, they play outside with their friends, they may take a nap and then they go home, and I think that's what we do. I think everything that we do, though, within those routines is adapted. The communication is adapted, the eating utensils are adapted. I think it's basically like a typical preschool, except it's much more structured and there's much more help available.
The eensy weensy spider went up the water spout.
Down the hall from Sue's preschool, another group of students is getting the day going with morning circle time.
Well, first of all, I have 6 students in my classroom right now, and the ages I'd say are between 8 to 11, 12. And it's a very busy classroom. The abilities of the students are very different.
We did Wheels on the Bus 2 times. Not once, but twice.
The whole song.
And we did the Eensy Weensy Spider. So we have all the ones on the top, Andrea. All of these, and then Patty Cake all the way in the corner.
Did you get that?
Okay.
Okay.
Got it?
Do you know what you're going to do? Yeah? Okay.
I'm going to put it over here, Andrea.
Old MacDonald had a farm.
Do you want Old MacDonald? Is that the one you want?
Yeah.
That's a wonderful choice.
I think it's definitely a place where kids kids should be able to, I'm stealing somebody's line, but to live and to learn and to love and to play, starting from preschool to right up to being 22, and everybody does it in a different way. And that's what everybody else outside campus school wants to do, and these kids should have exactly the same opportunity.
Oink oink here and an oink oink there, here an oink, there an oink, everywhere an oink oink. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
Tucked away away in a corner of Campion Hall on the Boston College campus, the campus school is a very special place indeed. In many ways, it is a school like any other. There are teachers and there are children. There is time for learning and also time for fun. But unlike most schools, this place has a couple of unusual characteristics. First, the students, who range in age from 3 to 21, have some intensive special needs. And second, the campus school is situated in the middle of a major national university.
The school was first established in 1970, and at the time there were not the special education laws in place, so there were many children at that time whose needs were not being met in existing programs, or many children who were not even in schools. In the early years there were children coming into the campus school who were as old as 10 to 11, 12 years old, who had never been in school before. So the primary purpose in establishing the school was to meet the needs of these children. The other purpose certainly was the vision of having a school like this associated with a university, to be an integral part of the School of Education here at Boston College.
In the 30 years since its founding, the campus school has seen many changes, but its fundamental mission remains unaltered. Today, the school is home to nearly 50 students. Brian Carter and Ayanna Queenie are two of them. It's Monday morning, but neither classmate is too disappointed that the weekend is over. No, Monday mornings for Brian and Ayanna mean a trip across campus to the swimming pool.
The swim time is done for a few reasons. You know, it is fun. You know, the kids enjoy being in the waters. At the same time, you're also working on their physical skills also. The water is very relaxing, and that's when you can kind of work out, get these arms to loosen up that are normally very, very tight.
Andy Day first encountered the campus school in 1993 when he was an undergraduate at Boston College. One afternoon, he stopped by the school to consider volunteering and was instantly hooked. 6 years later, Andy is still around, working as a teaching assistant in Brian and Ayanna's class.
The biggest thing is just walking in and getting the recognition every day and the smile. I have kids who come into school and as soon as they get to the door start bursting out laughing and the smile breaks out, and that to me is the most enjoyable thing. I was sitting down today with two of my children, and they were just laughing, you know, back and forth, smiling. And I was thinking to myself, how could you not be in a bad mood? You know, how could you not be happy being around this?
The laundry? Oh, the laundry. A lot? Not too much. Not too much. A little bit of laundry. Okay. Not like some days last week. Oh, we're overloaded. I think the word's out that laundry's done over here. Great. And we need to water some plants. All right? Okay. Day-o, day-o.
Mary Lassard is a musician, a teacher, an electrician, an artist, and a carpenter. Every day she utilizes her varied talents as she coordinates the Life Skills Workshop at campus school.
Life skills are basically the things that all of us do every day but we take for granted. It's going to the refrigerator and getting a drink of milk. It's getting clean clothes for yourself. It's the millions of little things that we take for granted that our kids don't often get to experience very well.
Want to hang on to that for me? Thank you. Okay, Rafa. Grab that. Rafa and Maritza. Rafa and Maritza will do the laundry.
The goal of being down here in Life Skills is not to teach kids how to do various kinds of activities, because our kids may not reach a real high level of independence in those, but I think it's really important for them, first of all, to experience them, and secondly, our kids can work on lots and lots of different skills while they're doing activities that are functional and meaningful. I think a good example of that is a lot of communication kinds of goals. So many words that you can't learn, like in and out and up and down and wet and dry. And it's easier to learn those words when you experience them.
Turn that pump on for me. The plant wants a drink. The plant wants a drink. One more time. Overtime. Paul's waiting for his turn. Lindsay's waiting.
I'm really interested in assistive technology. I think that's something that opens up a lot of new things for our kids to be able to experience. Down here we put the switch on the blender, on the sewing machine, on the food processor. We have battery-operated scissors, we have paper shredder. We have a gadget that dispenses laundry detergent for the washing machine.
Laundry's in the machine, the soap's in the machine, and the lid is down. So Maritza's going to turn the machine on, so the clothes can be washed. Okay, now pull. Pull it now. Give it a pull. Good job! All right. What a girl.
It's nice for kids to be able to participate in things that often people would not really think that would be something that they could do. So to take some of these kids and say, we're going to do woodworking, I think is just kind of a cool thing.
If you want music. Well, you did. Toys. You did want toys. Sing songs. Sing some songs? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
Our expertise at our school is to teach students who are not going to be communicators through speech primarily. So what we really look at is outside of speaking, how else can students communicate? What we use here is an approach called total communication.
Tetra. Who's that guy?
We look at students, how they can use their hands and their body through gestures, through some students are learning to use sign language. And then outside that, the third area is aided communication and what materials, outside of what the student has with them all the time, can they use to better communicate. And you have students who use pictures, photographs, some students use electronic devices, computers, really any kind of materials that can make a student be a better communicator. Someone who doesn't speak, as a young child, often isn't getting their basic needs met just because they're not able to communicate that. And so that's often, a place where we start is kids communicating their basic needs. But when you think about it, you and I use our voice to communicate a lot at a level a lot deeper. You make social connections with people. You let people know how you feel. You express your emotions. And so we try to look at those things beyond just being able to say, hey, I want to play with the bubbles now, and hey, I want crackers for my lunch.
And this page, it says, what makes Rebecca mad or angry? Angry and mad and upset. Hey, do you know what this one is? This is what I've heard you do sometimes when you're mad. Sometimes when you're mad, I hear you growl, you go, "Urgh. I'm mad. Yeah.
Rebecca's presents a very different picture than some of the other students I work with. Rebecca is developing speech. When she came to us as a 3-year-old, typically 3-year-olds have pretty developed speech and are pretty competent communicators through speech. Rebecca was saying, just a few words that were recognizable, and her voice was really soft and faint, and I would almost describe her as a timid child.
So this is kind of the mad page, but sometimes you feel happy, yeah.
As she has developed more and more speech, truly far beyond what I had expected at this point. It's been great to see how her ability to use words has also made her a lot more confident and excitable and, in some ways even a little wild communicator.
Push in. Push in, excellent. There we go. I've got to remember one goodbye and then continue pushing. That's it.
Today, a special guest has stopped in at the campus school to introduce students to traditional South American music.
I think there's a rhythm in everything we do, and I think there's a rhythm in the way we touch somebody, in the way we talk, and therefore communicate things to people. And you can always find the rhythm at which a certain student, you know you hit the point, and I'm not sure what other better phrase to use. You made a connection with somebody.
Music is an important component of the campus school curriculum. In addition to special musician visitors, the campus school has a music therapist on staff, and all students participate in music classes at least once a week.
I think for the most part, you can find a certain tune that will attract somebody's attention far sooner than when you just tell somebody something.
Hey Ty, look what I got. Would you want to play the tambourine? Or the bells? Which one? The bells?
I want to play that one.
You want to play the tambourine?
I don't mean to say that you have to sing everything to somebody, because that's not what happens outside of campus schooling. You don't want somebody to set somebody up, for that kind of situation. But I think kids respond to rhythm really easily.
I like pizza, morning, noon, and night. Oh, I like pizza for my breakfast and pizza for my snack at night. So what should we do? Pop Goes the Weasel or Pizza Boogie? I want you to look at both. Pop Goes the Weasel.
Alexa's favorite thing to do is music, whether it's listening to music or actually participating in music therapy along with, with Ginny, either in a group setting or kind of one-on-one. But it's documented fact that girls with Rett syndrome, which is the name for her particular neurological disability, are particularly moved by music. And for someone who doesn't have language, who's not able to move their body, it's wonderful to be able to experience different kinds of emotions through music, communicate through music, tease, and be teased through music. And I think that's why Alexa enjoys it as much as she does. I think parenting a child with special needs, and to a greater extent, is like parenting any child. You take the child wherever they are, love them for whoever they are, and help them to be as independent and to grow as much as they can.
It might be different for me. I'm a single parent. My wife passed away when I was 6 months old. But it's, it was devastating at first, obviously, when I first learned of it. But he's come a long way. I mean, he's an individual. He knows what he wants. He knows what he can do.
During the past year, Brian has been better able to communicate his wants and needs by using a new technology called Eagle Eyes that was developed in conjunction with Campus School.
Eagle Eyes is a research project that we're involved in, involving direct eye control of a computer through eye gaze. It was developed by some faculty members here at the university, and what it does is allow an individual who can't access a computer in traditional ways via the keyboard to move a cursor around the screen with their eyes.
Uh-oh, you found Gopher in 3 places.
Brian Carter is an excellent example of someone who is using the Eagle Eye system. At the beginning of the year, Brian was doing things like making paintings with his eyes and playing tic-tac-toe, matching animals. Now Brian is matching letters of the alphabet. He is also working on number concepts and some spatial geometry. So Brian's come a long way in these few months from using it almost as a toy to a more educational focus.
Eagle Eyes, when they first told me about it, Yeah, I was kind of leery, you know, with Brian doing it. You know, I wasn't quite sure if he'd be able to adapt to it, you know, because it did seem like a lot of technology at the time, you know, I thought for Brian. But the advances that he's made, you know, it's worked wonders for Brian. I mean, you know, he loves going down there now. They tell him he's going down to Eagle Eyes, and his eyes light up, and he knows exactly what he's going to do.
You had 3 out of 4 on that one, Brian. That was good. Now what?
What's in the sky today?
You don't want to play in the sky. Do you want to play in the sky?
People should be excited about this technology because for so long, people in this population were considered to be, because they were so physically disabled, no one expected them to have cognition, that they were thinkers and learners, and they are. And we don't know what their potential is, but we know that they are learners. And so much of the time, education for students in this population is geared towards life skills and function, and, you know, being able to say when you have to go to the bathroom, those kinds of basic human needs, that the academic side of the person is neglected. And, you know, not to be mean, it's just that that's the way it's traditionally been. And so what's exciting about this is that we're giving them an opportunity to express themselves and say, hey, you know, I'm a person, there's a person in here.
You know, we see with the population of children that we're working with, you know, 3 key areas in terms of the overall activities that make up the campus school, and those are educational activities, therapeutic programs and activities, and then health care. And we're integrating those 3 continually, looking at, while our main purpose of providing an educational program for all of the students here at the school, we have to bear in mind that there are certainly many therapeutic needs they have, which is why we have occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech therapy as integral parts of the program. And then certainly into that mix goes the health care provisions. Many of our children have complex health care needs. So while they are participating in all aspects of the program, the challenge we face is balancing the educational and therapeutic needs with the healthcare needs.
Once a week, campus school students take a trip to nearby Horace Mann Elementary School, where they have gym class with Horace Mann 3rd graders. The class gives campus school students a chance to exercise and have fun with other kids their age.
Nothing you can do, 'cause I'm stuck right to my God. I'm sticking to my God like a stamp to a letter, like a bird's of a feather.
It's certainly a huge benefit for the students who are from Horace Mann, because it's just a building awareness kind of thing, and giving them a better understanding of what our kids are and what they do. In the first few weeks when we went there, the kids are really apprehensive. They were a little nervous about some of the coughing, some of the suctioning. They really had a lot of questions, and it came out very naturally, them asking questions. And what was really neat is one student from that audience would say, you know, why is so-and-so always connected to the oxygen? And somebody else in that group had an answer for them. And we complimented what they knew. So I think it's really building a great experience for them, as well as educating them about our kids. Because one day, these are the kids who are going to be out in the world with our kids.
Campus school students not only have the opportunity to play with kids their own age, but they spend time with Boston College student volunteers on a daily basis.
We have the blessings of being able to use university, the volunteers, I think is a unique, they have just been incredible. The time and the love and the energy that they give back to all the students, you know, that has been just mind-boggling to me.
You walk into the campus school and you just have a totally different feeling about you. Like, you feel like you're needed, and you feel like they need you, and you just need them just as much. And it's an amazing feeling just to walk in that day and look at them, and sometimes they'll look back at you, and when they do, and when you make that connection, it's an incredible feeling.
We have a pep rally in the fall, each fall, and we bring the cheerleaders and the football players and campus school students together, and we have a pep rally before a football game. And it's great to see the football players who are so confident and so sure of themselves in every other walk of life come and be humbled, really be humbled, and to interact with our students and maybe be a little unsure of themselves, and have the students really be teaching them about what communication really is and what little things in life really do mean and what generates a smile and happiness.
You pooped on the potty. At all?
To have a stranger come into your life at a time when you are so very vulnerable and so needy and know so little about kind of what lies ahead for you or for your child. It takes a special individual to be able to do that. And it takes special skills, it takes just a special kind of a person to be able to do that and to offer help in a way that it can be accepted. Campus school is populated with individuals like that, and I'm in denial that someday Alexa will be 22 and will be leaving that program. I don't know what we will do.
People come into it one way, you know, they think they're coming in to do work for others. And I think that that's the thing that happens in a very short while, that you find out that you might have come into it thinking that you were going to do something for somebody else, but the bottom line is that you find out that you end up being the recipient of having, you know, things happen for you.
I can't really explain it in words, but it's almost like they live in the moment. Like, for instance, one of my students, Maritza, you could have something you're thinking about, and she comes in with this gorgeous smile. You know, she can just have fun, and they really appreciate it, just a really present. Every little thing that you do for them, they're so pleased. It's just a real sense of satisfaction or some little thing that they accomplish. They're just so pleased about themselves that they can really do it. And I think that's they can do pretty much, as long as you adapt the environment, they can do just about anything.